Jaime to our Alumni Couch segment. It is so good to have you here.
I started with a Bachelor of Music, and during the Bachelor of Music and since then, I've had two careers going. One is as a professional musician and entertainer, and the other is as a music and performing arts educator. And I've been very lucky to have those positions both in Australia, in the UK, and over in Europe as well. Well, the reason I went into music is I started playing clarinet when I was 7. So I was in my little school band and I loved making music. As I got into my late teens, I found that I was playing more in rock and pop bands on sax and keyboard. And that led me to want to study music if possible. And of course, I heard many people from my parents through to careers advisors saying, not sure about a career in music. And I chose Western Sydney University because I found that at school, having an orchestral background on clarinet and then having like a jazz and pop focus through sax and keyboards, that I'd need a degree which was really well-rounded. And so I went for WSU because it has amazing recording studios. It had a focus on everything from traditional folk music of the UK through to, I remember playing in a steel pan ensemble. While I was doing the degree and immediately after, I really loved performing. So I ended up managing a corporate entertainment band. So I put one together. Cool. We're still going. We've done well over 1,000 gigs now. And around the same time, I decided that I really liked education. So I went on and did an education degree, and I loved co-curricular music. So I love the ensembles. I love helping a school's program to build up. And one of my main schools, I ended up being at for 15 years. And we took it from a 70-piece co-curricular music program to over 700 students, co-curricular. And around that time, I started to bring in musicians from around Australia and some from overseas to sort of inspire the kids, the students. And along that journey, I saw that I would probably want to go and do some work overseas. In every ensemble, it's always a mentality of a growth mindset. Like, you guys can do this. Even if you haven't done this before, you're going to do it today. You're going to love it. Just have a go. This is reflective of what it's actually going to be like in the real world. And I would say that has carried through, 20 years later, those same sort of mindsets are there, and they're very true. So I've come back to Australia, and I've started pretty much what I always do, which is I have a career in performance and putting entertainment together. With the time that we're in now, a lot of that tends to be digital. So there's lots of recording of music and sending it out to corporate clients and for personal projects, people's podcast theme songs. There's that kind of stuff happening. And the other is there's always a need for passionate educators to get in and start ensembles in schools. So that's what I'm doing back here in Sydney. I've started with a couple of the local schools, starting their ensembles, and I continue to work with some of the private schools as well, like in a consultancy and education capacity. I will actually sit in this studio with my instruments, and I'll teach students. Currently, I teach students in Hong Kong, South Korea, London, New York, Maryland in the US, and of course across regional Australia. So I'm currently teaching in Western Australia, Queensland, and New South Wales, and Victoria. One of the things I've noticed is that I've kept in contact with my colleagues from WSU, and there are so many of them kicking huge goals around the world. There's one, Selena Ong, who's over in Ireland, and she's currently head of music for Spotify for all of the UK and Ireland. And when I've caught up with her over in Dublin, and we continue to keep in contact, and when we chat, we do talk about how important it is to have a well-rounded degree. And Selena came in with a certain focus of music, but through the degree she went and discovered so many different styles and types of music. Two that pop to mind. One is I think for me, I really love imparting and helping students, and seeing change. And so twice when I was in the UK, I had one of my students that I'd mentored here in a school for about 10 years. And twice I got to see her do her own solo tour across the UK, and I'd go along as a VIP with my wife, and and see my students smashing it on stage in front of thousands of people. The last few years working in Central Europe, I would continually get asked to put on big galas and big concerts, and working with the Juilliard School in New York, I'd have to coordinate their artists coming out from New York and hire out big Baroque era theaters and put on these big galas. And to be in the middle of that in such history, and to have big budgets to work with, and then put on a massive concert, that really ticks the boxes for me. Anyone who's studying a music or a creative arts degree is to be really open during the course to taking on other subjects, and to collaborate with colleagues, and to stay in contact with them, because you don't know where they're going to go as soon as they finish this bachelor. So that'd be my advice.